If you want to have an attractive physique, the type of body that women actually find sexy, then you need to be doing certain exercises to build certain muscles that will actually sculpt that type of physique for you. A lot of guys waste time in the gym, even years sometimes, doing the wrong exercises, prioritizing the wrong muscles that don't get them that type of result, even though that's what they want. Me personally, I did prioritize the correct exercises, build the right muscles, stay lean to build an attractive physique that I have now that literally has women staring at me in public whenever I go out. So if you want those types of results for yourself, listen to what I'm about to tell you and you're gonna get there. So the type of male physique that triggers instant physical attraction is a V-taper physique. This is where you have a slim waist caused by a low body fat percentage, leading into wide lats, broad shoulders, and a nice filled out upper chest, and then well-developed abs, your core, very important as well. When you have this type of physique as a man, women literally don't know what to do with themselves. This is the most attractive physique that a man can have. So when a woman sees a guy with this physique, it's like, fucking hell, I don't even know what I can say. You don't need to be a big bodybuilder. The size of the muscles isn't even as important as having the right proportions is. You don't need to cope and say, no, women find a dad bod more attractive. Are you mad? When you have well-developed lats, shoulders, upper chest, abs, and you're lean, you're like 10% body fat, 12% body fat, then you're going to see the results with women that I'm talking about. They sometimes they literally can't believe what they're seeing because it's so rare to have a good physique that when you have one, you're literally like a superstar. When you prioritize these exercises that I'm about to talk about and create that sexy masculine silhouette, that frame, that V-taper, that effect that it has on a woman is equivalent to when you see a woman with an hourglass physique. Just imagine that type of feeling you get when you see a woman with a slim waist and a big ass. Now imagine that women will be feeling that about you when you create a masculine physique, a sexy V-taper, and you're lean. It's honestly a cheat code. Like, the return on investment is so high, I can't even explain it. You just have to follow the steps I'm gonna give you and do it for yourself and see what I'm talking about. So the first exercise that you need to be prioritizing to build an attractive physique is the lat pull down. Now the lats are gonna make your waist look smaller and your back look wider. Same as the lateral delts for the shoulders, but the lats do start that off straight away because your lats are connecting at your waist. So when you start to build those lats wider and wider, it gives you that V-taper frame that's extremely attractive. The wider you build your lats, the smaller your waist looks as well. And as I mentioned before, having a small waist is very important for the aesthetic for an attractive physique. Obviously, the most efficient way to get a small waist is to get lean, to get to a low body fat percentage. But in terms of building muscle, building the lats, and then obviously the shoulders as well for the lateral delts, is going to give you that illusion of having a smaller waist, even if it's not even that small just genetically. Now in terms of the lat pull down itself, I would opt for a shoulder width grip or even slightly wider, just whatever feels most comfortable for you, basically. And then I would pull the bar down to around the chin area. From nose to chest, anywhere there is fine really. Again, what feels the most comfortable for you, for your own body, your own ranges of motion. You shouldn't be swinging the weight around either, like I see some people do, just flopping about like a fish. You should be keeping your whole body still, and the only part of your body that's moving to actually pull the weight is your hands, your arms, your elbows, right? To actually pull that weight down to your chest or whatever, and then back up to like almost lockout. Assuming that you're interested in building an attractive physique as fast and as efficiently as possible, then pull downs are going to be better than pull-ups for building the lats quickly, developing them faster progressive overload, because they're more stable, they have more multi-unit recruitment, which means it's going to be better for building the lats. Obviously, do what you want. If you prefer to do pull-ups, then it's better to do pull-ups than not to do anything at all for the lats, obviously. But like I said, if you want a better physique quickly, efficiently, then do the exercises that are actually going to train those muscles the best way possible. Now, the second exercise that's very important for us is a seated overhead press, either on a shoulder press machine or on a Smith machine. A nice stable overhead press where both the front and the side delts are going to be contributing to this movement. The front and the side delts are very important for an attractive physique. The side delts slightly more so because they're going to create that V-taper, but the front delts do combine with the upper chest as well to create that broad shoulder look, the big powerful shoulders that can be seen obviously shirtless, and then when you're in a t-shirt as well. That's probably one of the most important muscles for when you're wearing clothes. When you have big broad shoulders and it fills out your t-shirt, your arm is looking like this in a shirt, it looks really nice. The shoulders combine with the lats to create that nice shoulder to waist ratio, which basically defines your physique. Everything we're doing to get an attractive physique is to have a nice shoulder to waist ratio whilst being lean as well, because that's what turns a good physique into an absolutely amazing physique when you have well-developed muscles and all your other muscles are proportional as well, with a nice shoulder to waist ratio whilst being lean. Once you've got that combination, your physique is genuinely out of this world. Now, as for the overhead press, you should be lowering the bar or the machine basically all the way down to your upper chest, as low as you can go really, so you can get the maximum range of motion out of your front and side delts. Because otherwise, a lot of people press the bar till around here and then go back up till almost lockout. Like, you're basically doing a tricep exercise at that point. Go all the way down to your lower chest, press all the way back up to lockout or almost lockout, and that's going to be the most effective for your front and side delts when you're doing the overhead press. Now, the third exercise, this is going to be for your upper chest. Now, you can have a good shoulder to waist ratio and your physique is going to look good, but once you've got that upper chest going as well, you start to fill out those shirts, you've got that shelf type of look. That really makes your physique look very masculine and very attractive. Now, the only exercise that I've done regularly for the past 3 years since I started lifting weights for my chest, I don't do any flat pressing, I don't do any flies, I don't do anything other than the incline Smith machine bench press. This is the exercise I've done almost every session for the past 3 years, other than the times where, you know, the Smith machine is busy and I can't be bothered to wait and I just do some random bullshit instead. You set the bench angle for around 30 degrees. You can do slightly lower at 15, you can do slightly higher at 45. It's all good. And then you press full range of motion, of course, to your chest, till around your nipple area, your mid chest, whatever feels comfortable for you. Make sure your wrists are stacked above your elbows, not just for this exercise to be honest, but basically all your exercises. That's going to allow you to produce the most force and therefore get the most out of the muscle that you're trying to work. Like I said, I don't do any flat pressing at all. I don't do any flies. I don't do anything other than this incline press, because I'm only interested in developing the upper chest well, and your mid and lower chest are still active, of course, when you're doing an incline bench press. You can't completely take them out of the equation unless you're doing a very high incline like 60 degrees or something. But when you're doing an incline of 15 degrees, 30 degrees, your mid and lower chest are very much contributing to that press. So you're still going to develop them just at an equal rate, at least, as your upper chest, which is more important for us. To get that shelf look, you need to have an upper chest that's basically adequate, that's the same as your mid and lower chest. Because if you have an overdeveloped lower chest, for example, you're doing decline presses, don't ever do decline presses, because that's going to make your breast, literally your breast, your pecs look saggy and give you, you know, a more feminine type of look, a saggy, droopy breast type of look, which is not what we want. We want a masculine shelf type of look that looks very attractive, that fills out your shirts well. Now, the final exercise that I'm going to mention here is going to be for working your abs, and that's going to be hanging leg raises. So you do them on a dip machine and you lift your legs up till around parallel with weight in between your legs. You can put a dumbbell there, a medicine ball, whatever. You lift them to about parallel and you just do that basically until you can't do it anymore. If you have a strong core, you can actually do hanging leg raises on a bar. I'll give you an example like here, where you lift your toes all the way up to the bar, and that's harder than the hanging leg raises on the dip machine for sure, but it's also nice to work your abs, and obviously you don't need to wait around to use the dip machine if anyone's on it. You just hop on a bar and do that instead. You might have to work up to that. It's likely that you'll have to work up to that. But once you can do that, those are good as well. What you shouldn't be doing to build your abdominal muscles is 60 crunches followed by 30 sit-ups, followed by 45 seconds of Russian twist, followed by a minute of planks, because that's just building your core endurance and not actually building the abdominal muscles that we want to train. You train your abdominal muscles the same way you train other muscles, by shortening and lengthening the muscle, training it to failure with a couple sets, resting adequately in between sets, not by doing endurance exercises. You don't train any of the muscles adequately with endurance exercises, so it's the exact same for the core. Having well-developed abs and then obviously being lean enough to see them also is going to be amazing for your physique. Abs are honestly probably the first muscle that people notice when you take your shirt off. Does he have abs or does he not? Because if you don't have abs, it's like, well, you're not very lean, are you? You need to be lean to have an attractive physique. And when you have a well-developed six-pack, even an 8-pack to get to that level, right, then your physique is honestly going to be amazing. A good shoulder to waist ratio, well-developed upper chest, lats, shoulders, and then combine them with the abs with a small waist as well. That's a fitness model physique that is genuinely achievable for almost everybody, basically everybody. Just that most people don't put in the work, the time and effort, the investment, the nutrition, the training to actually get there. But once you get there, the results are unbelievable. In terms of actually integrating the exercise that I've talked about in this video into your own workouts, this is how I'd recommend for you to do it. I would say to you, to do an upper lower split where you train your upper body muscles on one day and then your lower body muscles on the next day. You put the exercise that I've mentioned first in your workouts, and then obviously you do your other muscles to keep them proportional as well after those. But the ones that I mentioned are going to be more important to actually build that sexy physique. For each exercise, you just do 2 sets to failure, and that's going to be more than enough for the workout, for the session, right? Not 2 sets where you're just fucking messing around and you're looking at your phone and you're looking around and you're just, going through the motions. That's not going to do anything for you. You need to train with intent, train seriously, and that's how you're going to get the results that you actually want. You train 3 minutes in between your sets because you're training very intensely. You need that time to recover to go again for your next set. And then in terms of your recovery, in between your workouts, you rest 3 days. So if you do upper lower, for example, you could do upper lower rest and then repeat. So every 3 days, you'd be doing the same workout. Very important to be doing the same workout every 3 days, right? So you wouldn't be changing the exercise that you're doing. You don't do lat pull down one day and then do pull-ups the next day and then do rows the next day. You choose one exercise for the lats, for example, like I've recommended the lat pull down in this scenario, and then you do that every single time, every workout in the same order in the workout. When you do boring workouts like this, you do the same thing every single time. That's how you actually see progress. You do the same thing and it seems repetitive. It is repetitive actually, but that's how you actually see the results. Don't get caught in the trap of always chasing something novel like most people do. I want to do this flashy exercise one day and then do a different one the next day and then change the way I eat today and then do something different tomorrow. Because when you keep chopping and changing everything that you're doing, you're not getting a consistent routine. You're not sticking to what you need to be doing for a long period of time, and you never see real results that way. I've been doing basically the same workout for the last 2.5 years, and that's how I have seen amazing results in that time. When you can stick to something that's considered boring for a long period of time, you just surpass everybody else who's constantly trying something new. Make sure your form is pretty much perfect with basically all your exercises as well. Training with heavy weights is also going to be a benefit. I always advocate for that, about 4 to 8 reps. Once you can train with perfect form till failure in this rep range consistently with the same exercises every single workout, the progressive overload is going to be mad. You're going to see what I'm talking about. If you actually go ahead and implement what I'm talking about, it's going to be crazy and you're going to be like, I wish I did this before, right? Every time you reach the top of the rep range with a specific weight, that's when you increase the weight. You don't increase the weight just because you feel like it, because you want to lift heavier or whatever. You increase the weight when you can get 8 reps, for example, with perfect form, with good tempo, and that's when you increase the weight the next session. Then the next session, you increase the weight and you could probably get 4 reps, 5 reps, 6 reps. And then you keep going, training till failure with that weight until you can get 8 reps again with perfect form. And you keep systematically increasing like that. It's called a double progression method. Building an attractive physique doesn't have to be complicated. It's not complicated actually, it's quite simple. You train the right muscles, you train them to failure, you eat good food, you sleep well, and you stay consistent. Obviously there's loads of nuances and optimizations and things that I can get into that I can talk a lot about, but on a simple level, that's basically it. People who have great physiques have just built these habits, the habits of athletes. They treat themselves with respect, and that allows them to stay in shape easily. It's not even an effort, for example, for me to stay in shape, because I've built these habits over a long period of time, built the discipline. I don't even have to use that much willpower anymore. I don't use willpower, honestly, because I've seen the results that I get from having such a great physique. And that is more than enough motivation, believe me, more than enough to continue doing it day in, day out. And I enjoy it. I enjoy staying in shape. I enjoy training optimally. I enjoy eating good food. I enjoy going to sleep early and going to sleep for a long time, because I know that the things that I get as a result of doing these habits that I'm talking about are more than worth it for the results that I get with my physique, with women, and with the way I feel in general. The exercises that I gave and the training recommendations are obviously just one part of building an attractive physique and actually using a good physique to attract more women as well. But honestly, the confidence boost that you get from tracking your workouts and seeing the progressive overload in the gym and then training the right muscles with the right exercises to see the changes in your physique as well is very inspiring and can inspire you to create more drastic changes with your nutrition, with the women, to actually use a good physique to get an attractive physique and see massive changes in your life as well. So take into account what I've said in the video. You're going to see what I'm talking about. It's absolutely amazing. If you want more help with building an attractive physique, then check out the top link in the description. That's my community. We've got a lot of guys in there now who are helping each other with the guidance from me as well to build an attractive physique. Everything you need there, everything I've mentioned here in more depth, the exercises, the nutrition, the training, more things as well to do with women. So check that out if you're interested. Also DM me on Instagram if you're more interested in one-to-one coaching as well.